Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum, and today I'll be reacting to another version of Friend of the Devil by Grateful Dead. We're going to be featuring Jerry Garcia and David Grisman on the David Letterman show. I remember as a kid seeing the David Letterman show, like on occasion, just like his face really pop up. And then recently I saw what he looks like with the massive almost like Quaker beard. Not that it unlocked many like childhood memories of mine, because again, I don't have much experience with David Letterman, but it's just interesting to see the evolution of people that you thought you knew, or at least had a semblance of an idea, and then over time they're also evolving and changing. I guess such is life, right? People change with time, so I'm not really saying anything novel here. Whatever, I don't want to get lost in my own rambles. Let's jump into the music. Well, before we do, a massive thank you to Doug the Reliable for making this donation request today. Thank you very much, Doug. Your requests help guide the direction for reactions I do over here. Now, let's jump in. Wow. See, I knew him not as this version, but as an older version with white hair. This is crazy.
All right. Our next guests have recorded two albums together. Here they are, and tonight they are performing a Grateful Dead song, which appears on their first album. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused here about that as well. Their newest CD is called Not for Kids Only. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Grisman and Jerry Garcia. Guys!
Almost trailed by 20 pounds. Didn't get to sleep that night till the morning.
So we got mandolin and acoustic Jerry action.
Set out running, but I take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight.
His beard isn't as huge as it normally is.
Ran into the devil, babe. He loaned me 20 bills. Spent the night in Utah in a cave up in the hills. Set out running, but I take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Ran down to the levee, but the devil caught me there. Took my $20 bill and vanished in the air.
Is this a Hammond organ? Does this qualify? Because this is so small. Kind of reminds me of the, it's from India, the harmonium, that instrument. But you have to kind of like fan. It's almost like an accordion, but it's a stationary keyboard. And you have to routinely fan it to help produce like the bellows and then create the sound through its structure. Don't ask me, I'm not a musical instrument engineer, but it kind of reminds me of that shape.
Took my $20 bill and vanished in the air. Set out running, but I take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Got two reasons why I cry away each lonely night. First one's named Sweet Anne Marie. She's my heart's delight.
Ooh, I like that little modulation.
Sheriff's on my trail. catches up with me, you know I'll spend my life in jail.
Wow, I love the quality of the high notes in mandolin. It's somehow different than ukulele. Oh yeah. Are they gonna do the back and forth? I would love that.
Got a wife in Chino, baby, one in Cherokee. First one says she got my child, but it don't look like me. Said out running, but I take my time.
Also, this bass has been very pronounced in this. I assume everybody else in the background, they're just session musicians playing their various roles, but it's definitely working here.
Sit out running, but I take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight.
That was wonderful. Jerry, good to see you again. Thank you very much for being here. Jerry
awesome.
Garcia. David, pleasure to meet you. David Grisman, sounded wonderful.
That was a rather
Let me
short
right
performance.
Thank you, folks.
We're gonna play more, I hope. You know, Grateful Dead, they just love their songs about the outlaw life. I wonder where that interest stems from. I mean, obviously we're comparing different eras as well. This is like 1970s, well, you know, let's call it pre-2000s versus post-2000s. But like, why so much outlaw convo stories? Did Jerry live this life, or is he recounting others' lives, generally speaking? People that he knows, maybe in a past life, you never know. But there's something very charming about the outlaw renegade life. What is happening now? I assume that's the finality of their performance, at least on the show. But what is this track here? Sounds like more Grisman and Jerry. Yeah. The tremolo on the mandolin. I think I prefer that to ukulele tremolo for sure. Ukulele, I like how springy that instrument is. Oh yeah, pick it up. I'm vibing onto this hard. I don't know what this one's from. If it's from the Late Show or a separate performance of theirs. They were playing this.
Jerry Garcia, David Grisman. You guys sound great. Thank you very much again. I enjoyed that. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, so I think at least we got the answer in the end. I think they continued to play after David Letterman signed them off. So I guess they had the recording going even after like he had closed the show, seemingly, or at least transitioned into some like, I don't know, some other section or commercial, whatever. I was never one to really watch late night shows, late night TV, because I was a child for a long time. And then, you know, I've grown up in the internet age, so most of my content consumption at this point has not been television. It has been YouTube. And I know that can seem like a crazy kind of sentiment, but I think a lot of you also recognize this. But if you look at even the trends and the numbers, much of the like hours spent just on entertainment, on media, is shifted away from long-standing news, television, whatever's been in the standard syndication. Those numbers have been declining year on year, and streaming platforms like Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff, in addition to video sharing platforms like YouTube, it is all shifted over. I wonder how it feels to those experiencing that paradigm shift, because technically I haven't experienced the shift. At least I was basically born into the shift already having occurred, so it's all been really normal to me. But that's why it's also so great, because so much of this content that people wouldn't have had easy access to many years ago, let's say in 1993 when the show occurred, is now accessible at the click of a finger. It is actually crazy. I think we are definitely spoiled, and the issues that my generation have to face have to do with sensory overload, with misinformation, with being unable to check our dopaminergic systems and being just flooded with so much stimuli and content. It's never ending, right? Because there's an infinite amount of content out there. And now if you consider AI, you can just go and go and go. And it's not even humans creating it anymore. Machines with all of their computational power can do whatever they want, basically infinitely. That is all a long aside to say, I love that I can actually watch this stuff for what it was at the time. And I'm beginning to, let me not say beginning. I think I've already started to do this over the course of this year. But as I listen to music, especially older music, I'm trying to take the perspective of when that music was written, rather than view it only through my modern lens. Granted, you are here for my takes, my perspectives that are unique and custom to me, but I'm also trying to understand the position that most of these songs were when they were released, when they were written, because there's a certain information asymmetry that exists between generations that sometimes goes unspoken, because it is hard to know all of the differences in the way that we think from one another. And I do my level best to try to understand all of the places that, you know, Jerry, or let's say in this case David Grisman too, are coming from when they are doing a performance like this. And you also take into context the entire the rest of the musical and media environment. You know, why were songs like this written? From what place did they come? And what other music existed at that time that may have influenced the works here? The nerd in me, the analyst in me, would love it if there was like a chart or a graph that existed that showed the entire flowchart of all of the songs and artists that ever existed, and the ways in which they've influenced one another. If that exists, somebody please link me. I will be forever in your debt. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the reaction and just listening alongside me today. It is always a pleasure on my end. If you enjoyed the reaction and want to request one yourself, please hit the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.